to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is a Nothing Personal show with Nikki King, and we're sponsored by Fussbox Designs. At the moment we are looking for an additional sponsor, so if you think your business fits the bill and you want to sponsor our show, we'd love to hear from you. This morning we've got Marie McManaway in the show. She live for you. I will get around to saying hello to her in just a second. We're part of the Wairarapa Women in Business Facebook community, and that is a Facebook group on Facebook, obviously. I'm sorry, I just have to excuse me, my brain's a bit fuzzy this morning. And we are a low-cost networking group, so if you are a woman in business and you want to talk to anybody about anything or network with someone, you can just join that group, answer a few little questions, and you can be part of the group. We meet on a Friday, the first Friday at Clareville Bakery, first Friday of the month at 8:30. And anybody's welcome who are part of the group. And we meet on the third Friday of the month in Masterton at Don Luciano. And Marvin gives us a lovely coffee there when we go there. And each time we get a mixed bag of women. There's no commitment, no cost. So just come over and join us, and we'd love to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to switch over to Marie now. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you? Good morning, Wairarapa.
Yay, I got the right mic this morning. Good morning. And you're dressed exactly like me today.
We're clone sisters,
I know.
by default.
I know, that's so cool. And we didn't even know.
No, that's it. Great minds thinking alike. That's what it is.
I know. So, Marie, could you just tell us a little bit about your business?
I sure can. Well, hi, everybody out there in the Wairarapa. My business. Okay, well, I started off actually knowing that I wanted to help people.
Yeah.
That would be my first great clue of what we want to do in life. We all have those signs along our way. And I tried several things. I, did, working in diversional therapy, trying all different titles. And then I started working as a counsellor.
Yep.
But I felt like, and I worked with Wairarapa Rape Crisis, etc. But I felt like people that went through counselling almost got that stuck in the loop. There seemed to be a lot of people returning back. They'd get their 10 ACC sessions and then they'd come back into the system and still not feel right. And that had me questioning, well, what else could we do to help people move forward successfully in life? And so from that, I decided, well, I'm going to look into coaching.
Yep.
And so off I went to Auckland, blind faith and all that. Went up there and trained myself and got into basically specialising. Life for You specialises in personal development, because my thoughts are that regardless of where you are in life, it is who you are personally, how you are affected from an emotional quotient, not your intelligence quotient, but your emotional quotient, that actually helps you determine whether you're going to be successful or whether you're going to struggle in life.
Yeah.
And so that is the business. 10 years on now, or just over 10 years on.
Wow.
And really just grew its own set of legs and took off.
Yeah, and I think if there's a need for something, that's what happens, isn't it, really? It just takes, word of mouth, and it just takes off.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
When I often refer to the story when I first started out, people would say to me, oh gosh, it's a bit woo-wooish being a coach, no one's going to come to that, and what the hell are you doing this in the Wairarapa for, etc. But, I had that inner drive, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it, because I don't want to sit on the rocking chair and go, what if I'd have done this? And, I'm quite happy to say, I didn't listen to those opinions. I forged on, and, it really has just come to a life of its own. And so I'm quite proud of Life for You and, the now thousands of people that I have been able to have the privilege of coaching and supporting.
Oh, cool. So what would involve in a sort of typical coaching session? What would that involve?
Good question. Question. Everybody is a little bit, afraid almost to ask or to come forward, because we all have this mask on in our life.
We do, definitely.
No, I've got to be deemed to be looking good in society.
I can't be weak.
That's it. Absolutely. But, there's not a single person that I haven't worked with who doesn't have a facade up. A societal facade. But if once they have the courage and intelligence to know they want to get something better of their life, and they come in and they take that first session. So to me, you've reached that point of pain where you're able to say to yourself, you know what, I've had enough. I've had enough of struggling. I'm standing on this nail and it bloody hurts and I don't want it anymore.
Yep.
And at that point, there's enough drive in you, even if it's from a painful perspective, to come forward and seek some help.
Right.
So in the door they come usually quite nervous, you know, and I'm very jovial in my coaching.
I could tell that, yeah. I think I could feel that from you.
Yeah, so usually they come and I say, well, hi, you know, anything you want to ask me, and, you know, a couple of questions. And then I'll usually say something like, you know, think of this office as your ultimate confession room where you can say whatever you like. There will be no judgment, no bias. This is about you spilling your heart and being utterly raw and honest with me. And then I'll usually follow with a line that's something like, and I promise I won't use whips and chains. I'm not into 30 Shades of Grey. And the policeman said it was illegal. So, and so, you know, and that breaks the ice. You know, then they think, okay, you know, can I work with this person? Do we like each other? Because just as you and I are sitting here talking right now, we may be speaking through word, but vibrationally, we check each other out. You know?
Yeah, that's right. You do that.
Yes.
And you have those gut reactions to people, don't you, sometimes?
You do. And so you get that guttural feeling that says, oh, you know, that you might walk past a lady and you think, she seems nice.
Yes.
Or you walk past a guy, you never know, oh, he seems a bit dodgy, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
And so we have to have a rapport. We have to have a connective relationship. That's right. So if my client and myself are able to do that, then we move on.
Yeah, and people have expectations of people as well, don't they? Because it's like they come to me and they sit there and they go, oh, they think I'm going to judge them and it's going to be really hard and highbrow because it's tech. But I'm probably like you, I'm very sort of jovial and it's all very, you know, you've got to get that rapport with, it is with any customer, I think, or with anybody. To move on and do something successfully, you've got to have something that you actually get, you know, you have to work on.
Look, I could give you 3 little tips that are going to help you with your potential clients and anybody out there listening. And this is something that I confess to using.
So any little tips are good, aren't they?
You know, if we start off, if you're about to go to an interview, as an example, you're about to take on an interview, you're really anxious, you're not sure how it's going to go. What you want to do is ask 3 questions that have a yes answer to them, 3 simple questions. So what I might have, you know, Nikki and I started our conversation with, we're wearing the same colours.
Yes.
We agreed. You know, you know, hasn't it been a bit warmer lately?
Yeah, and you go, yes, it has.
Yes, it has. You know, and you know, are you enjoying your job?
Yeah.
You know, yes. So you know, all 3 of those questions have a yes answer.
Yeah.
Now, on a subliminal level or a vibrational level, what you have done is actually told the person that you're speaking with, potentially for the first time, we get on.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go again, you see. We get on. So instantly you've built a rapport.
That's right.
If you're going to an interview or something like that, it's a wonderful way to encourage that communication right from the word go.
And some people struggle with that, you know, because I know my husband's quite an introverted person. And we went to this gig on Saturday night, and I'm always a social butterfly. I'm always around, you know, da-da-da. And, you know, I don't always find that easy, but I just do it, you know, whereas he sits back and he feels those kind of tips would be good for him because he always finds himself socially awkward, and we'll say that he will agree to that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can tell you that I'm an off-duty introvert, which is, so, you know, when I am not working or out in the world and, you know, having my facade on, I too am a very quiet person, and you know, my friends would say that I'm quite, you know, it's very hard to get information out of me, and yet here I am.
Exactly, and facilitating that.
That's right, and my passion. So I can actually verify that, yes, that does work.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people who I was talking to my husband again about that at the weekend, and he says there are people that are extroverted introverts. So they you know, I mean, people say, oh gosh, you're so confident, but I do actually have introverted moments where things are uncomfortable, like those pain points, like you say. I'll probably get fed up with that at some stage and go, how can I deal with this? You know, or somebody like me, you know, you can sit there and I'll be quite extroverted, but there'll be something going on underneath, you know, and so there may be opportunities to come and, you know, see a life coach, then you don't think you need them, but you've got this, like you say,
That's
facade.
the thing. When the last book, or the book that I've done my part. I've written the book, but it's currently at the publishers in New York at the moment, and it's called The Mind Fit Farmer: Smiling Through the Storms of Life. And I think the big message that I would put out there to anybody, farmer or urbanite, is that you have to know who you are.
Yes.
And part of knowing who you are is knowing your personality
Exactly.
type, which is what you're referring to, whether you're introvert, extrovert. Because when the wheels fall off life, one of our first statements is, I don't know who I am anymore.
I've been there.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been there.
And it's a very lonely, very lost place to be in. So if you can come and find out who you are,
Yep.
when those storms push you around and rock you backwards and forwards, you'll still stand the ground because you'll know your values,
That's
you'll know
right.
your beliefs, you'll know, okay, this is who Nikki King is.
That's right.
I can handle this. I'll learn some tools to get me through it.
That's right.
And that's, I guess, what gives people coming through the course, gives them the mind security.
Yeah.
It's like building up a really good toolbox,
Yeah.
but a mind toolbox, one that's giving you go-to tools and techniques that you
Yep.
can use in everyday life, whether
Yep.
you are driving in the car, walking up the raceway of a farm, or going to school.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you're the parliamentarian, the pupil, or the pensioner, really.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, and I suppose there's certain times in life where you might question that, because I know I'm just thinking about the time when the wheels fell off and I didn't know who I was. I was with a guy for a number of years, and he sort of he was quite strong, and I sort of become not me. Do you know what I mean? I started becoming not me and doing everything that he wanted me to do.
Right.
And when I came out of that relationship, I didn't know who I was. I was lucky that I found my current husband, who was like very supportive and said, "Oh, you're good at that, and you're good at that, and you're good at that." Yeah, but so coming to you might be a good
Yes.
opportunity.
What
to-
happens is what
yeah.
you've just described is, when you generally it's when it's the opinion or the experience from or by somebody that you are emotionally connected to
Yeah.
that rocks your boat.
Yes.
As an example, if you grow up in a struggling family where you might hear, you're not good enough, or you did this
Yeah.
wrong, and that kind of constant berating has you believing that your self-image is of little worth.
Yes.
I'm not good enough. Why does everything go wrong? Because I'm not worth it. I'm
Yeah.
not worthy. And of course, what it is simply that you have been imprinted with incorrect information.
That's right, yeah. And it's hard to shake, isn't it?
It's very hard to shake. So once a client does come into me, and my job as the mind mechanic
Yeah.
is to identify where these limiting beliefs are, where these loops
Yeah.
and falls are for that person, and then we work on it. And it takes a wee while. It's quite interesting. If you plant a seed in the ground, because the packet tells you, and because science and history, and there's proof to tell you that it's going to eventually gestate and rise.
Sorry, I was going to sneeze then. I held it off.
It's the seeds rising. It's the spring seeds. Whereas if you decide you want to start changing your life, and you might want to plant that thought, you might say, I want a better life.
Yes.
And you could say it all day and all night. But you don't have the same level of faith and confidence because you've never seen your life future in yourself, especially if your self-image
Yes.
is limited,
Yes.
to believe that you are capable of achieving that and going forward. And if you can retain this thought that it takes 30 to 90 days, or some professionals call it the 100-day turnaround,
Yeah.
to change your life entirely. So that means every day we need to be seeding down, we need to be imprinting and practicing what it is we actually truly want from our lives.
Yep.
Not what we wish for and hope for, but
No.
what we really want, and how we're going to manage that for that entire time. So if a client comes to me, and generally our courses are 6 to 8 weeks, which is all it takes.
That's good.
It's surprising. And then after that, they are fully equipped, and I will send them out into the wonderful world with a couple of tasks, and then I follow up, and how are we going? And,
Yep.
do you need a bit of a nudge along the way?
Yep.
Bit of motivating session, or, how is it going? And they generally do extremely well. I would probably have In the 10 years I've been coaching, I could say there's probably one or two that haven't quite done very well at all.
Yeah.
But out of the thousands have done so super well.
Yep.
So, you know, what can I say?
That's really cool. I mean, that, you know, it sounds really good to be able to do that. It's really, you know, and could people come to you if they were, it's like, if they got emotional sort of, like, if you're a business person and you're struggling to with habits and things that you think are negative and holding you back, would you see people coming to you around those kind of issues?
Absolutely, absolutely. The thing is that, as I mentioned earlier before, you know, when emotions are up, intellect is down.
Yeah.
And if you have had an emotional trauma, an event you can't let go of, you know, self-image issues, limiting values or beliefs moving forward, I liken it to driving a car.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing everything logically, everything practically. You know to put petrol in it, you know to wash it, clean it, look after it.
Yeah.
But if you put the wrong petrol in it, it's not going to go well.
No.
You know? And so it feels like the handbrake's on in your life.
Yeah.
And you've got a lag and you just can't quite see clearly. The lights are dim and it's foggy ahead. You know, so coming through the course allows you to see clearly. It gives you direction. It gives you focus. It takes away that lag.
Yeah.
It's a very unique experience. And you know, I feel very privileged to help anybody that does come through the door because, you know, we know together. And it is a process that we work through together very intimately, and very confidently. And it is all, you know, obviously something that I respect entirely because there are no two stories the same.
No, we're all different, aren't we?
We are. You know. And that's why I wrote the second book, The Mind Mechanic, because that, you know, some people like to retain it, like, you know, take the book away, have a little read, and then decide if they're brave enough to come on or if they're ready or if it's the right match for them.
Yeah, so tell us about your books then, because we've got them here. Show them up to this is your camera here.
This is my camera. I've been busy looking at Nikki. Hello.
That's your camera.
So there's one here, which this one's called The Mind Mechanic, and that's really what I refer to as the Mind Toolbox manual. And I use the Mind Mechanic based on the actual automobile, the car, because we can all relate to driving a car, and that's really what this one's about. And it is specifically for people from, I would say, teenagers right through till about 50, 60 years old.
Right.
And that book there was one that I wrote and got an actual you know, paid, sponsored to write it.
Nice.
That was because this one here, The Power of Transformation, that I had, I got selected by a lady from, believe it or not, New York. I don't know how she came across me. Linda Eastman was her name, or is her name. And she was looking for 22 women from 22 different countries around the world to compile this one book. So each professional woman got a specific chapter. Right. And my chapter was doing what I call the letting go technique, which is a very, very intimate, special healing technique that I do with clients, usually if they need it around about session 4 or 5, once I have a very strong history on them and recognise any limiting beliefs or any traumas that they are struggling with. In Sedona, or the letting go technique, is very, very, very special. It's a very emotional thing for my clients, and it's something that if you imagine watching, at the moment you go to the movies and you watch a movie and it's surround sound, you can get vibrating seats, you can get 3D, you get great colour. The whole thing is a very physical and emotional experience. And we retain it all within detail. Years ago, we would have watched a movie, Charlie Chaplin style, black and white, no sound.
Yes,
you know, maybe somebody playing a piano.
Yeah, that's right.
Unusual music in the background. So it was very just logical. There wasn't a lot of emotional feeling in it. So Sedona, or the letting go technique that I studied for and have been practicing for a long time now, is one that takes the event or the trauma of yourself and it takes away the emotional impact of it. So no, you cannot erase the past, but yes, you can put it in a place that is practical. It's a logical memory. but it will not have that emotional trauma that you are carrying around like a big heavy weight on your shoulders anymore.
Yep.
And people just feel utterly enlightened.
That's amazing.
And once we've got to that point, then we can sit down and actually start looking at goals, and you know, that comes sort of in that week 5, 6.
Well, that's cool. That sounds really good, eh? And so
It is amazing.
So do you believe that people can get to wherever they want to using these techniques?
I believe that everybody has a choice to get to where they want to.
Yep.
I believe that mediocre people live a mediocre life. But if you want to be a successful person, you're going to need to live a successful life. And that means that you can't spend your time, like a mediocre person is going to spend, you can go through your entire life quite normally. However, you will always carry the lag and the burdens and everything's with you, you know. So the suitcase gets quite heavy, or the shoulders get heavy, or the weight in the heart, or the lethargy, or, you know, those feelings of, wow, you know. Once you've gone through the letting go and you've actually lightened yourself, you've cleared your focus, your pathway is open, that's when you can actually future plan. And that's when we can actually consider, you know, again, I'm going to use the car, a GPS, you know, you set the GPS in your car. Really what you're doing is you are setting a clear directional plan of where it is you wish to go.
Yep.
So goal setting is much the same. It's like setting your own personal life GPS about where you want to go.
Yep.
Now, you can set a goal. As an example, you can set a goal like, you know, people often, you know, January, they want to set the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, want to lose weight.
I get so many coming in January and I'm like, okay. You know, and they know what they want. Example could be, I want to give up smoking.
Yeah.
But they don't know how. Or they very rarely know why.
Yeah.
And so the goal's not going to make it, because you can't just want this goal.
No.
You have to actually know how to action it and how to be successful and the reason why behind it.
Yes, I agree with that.
And even the littlest changes, like for a smoker, what I would suggest, you know, they do little things, but they all add up to big things. And a tip for you out there, the listeners, would be that you change your login or your passwords or things on your computers or your bank accounts. As an example, if you're wanting to give up smoking, you would put something like Healthy Lungs Me to 18. You know, something like that, so that when you actually make a decision for a goal, put that goal everywhere you can around you, because it needs to be real. It needs to be a subliminal message. You can't just write it down at New Year's and then in March you're going to not know where that piece of paper is. You know, it's not organic. It's not alive.
And I suppose you have to then set the scene to achieve it, because it's not just stopping smoking, is it? It's the other things that are around.
Yes.
Gosh, I've just had an enlightening moment there.
Fantastic.
Yes, live on air.
Yeah.
He's putting those things, because, you know, I've started doing exercise. I've been doing CrossFit, which is my first step to fitness this year. I got brushed by a guy called Al French in a course, and it was the right time for me. But now I'm looking at nutrition, which I'm finding very hard. Yeah. So, but I've realised that I find it difficult because I'm so busy. Meal times are quite difficult, so you succumb to easy food. But then you think, well, how can I make it so that I can prepare good meals? Prepare
those steps.
Yeah, because there's more than just eating well. You know,
absolutely.
You have to go to the supermarket and plan your meal out, and and there's lots of steps to that being a success, isn't there?
There is, you cannot get from A to Z without learning how to take the steps along the way. One of the things I would suggest, just looking at you, and I'm guessing from here, but are you an O blood?
No.
What's your blood type B?
A.
A? Oh, you're an A. Are you really? Okay, so what I will do, I will write myself a note, A Nikki, here on here, and just I'll send you through the type of food that you should be eating for your blood type. And also give you some pre-suggestions for meal plans, how to do them on the run, which is part of the health and fitness side of our, you know, if you were with me, there are 8 aspects to a life, and health and fitness being high on one of them. So for me, once a person works out what their blood type is, then they can eat accordingly. So you're an A blood. That means that you are, white meats are definitely your thing, and you've come from, red meat is not really beneficial to you at all.
No, and I do struggle to digest it.
Yes, you will. Yeah, absolutely. So stick with your white meats because they're far better for you. You can eat a few carbs, which like an O or an A or a B blood shouldn't be eating. A's are able to eat carbs, but that's because you've come from, your blood type has come from the cold lands.
Yeah.
You know, you've got that whole Irish and English descent, so your environment is cooler, and that means that you grew up eating a lot more protective food, for want of better words.
Yep.
Yeah, so we could learn a lot about you based entirely on your blood type.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. So that's really cool. So, so the fitness thing has been, it was a goal to, and the only thing I wanted to do is be able to sing, not be out of breath on stage.
Okay.
And then I went to do the gig on Saturday, and I wasn't out of breath on stage, but it's more than that now for me. It's become more than that.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, it's been, now it's, I've achieved that goal. That it didn't take long, 10 weeks to get fit enough cardiovascularly to do that. But there's more things now I've noticed from doing the exercise. I want to achieve better things.
Tell me about how you felt being in breath at the gig on Saturday night.
It was an amazing experience. It was life-changing. It was the best gig I've ever done. I came out euphoric. It was very good. I was very tired after it because I did more moving around. It was like doing a CrossFit workout, Al. Yeah, it was really good.
So there was that wonderful elation, satisfaction, the I did it feeling.
Well, not only that, it's actually improved my voice from being fit.
And with it, confidence.
Yes, I was very confident.
So you've just identified, if we think about, there are, for you, your the best way for you to get your happy on, for want of better words, is an endorphin release.
Oh, I'm an endorphin junkie.
Absolutely. I didn't know that before, but I've been able to pick that up based on what you're telling me.
I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love CrossFit because it's intense, and when you finish it, you feel it's like doing a gig.
Absolutely. So the people that are the endorphin junkies, or I'm the same. I'm a gym goer myself, but they're the people who want to run or exceed beyond their current conditions on a regular basis. So that's how you get your happy on. So some people get it from dopamine. Some people get it from serotonin. Knowing where you get your happy from is really, really important for those days when you have a bit of a dip day. Because that means that you could do something as simple as grab yourself a nice glass jar, some pieces of paper, and write things on there that are going to get your happy on. Yeah. One of them could be, doing some cardio work. One of them, whatever makes you feel happy. Yeah. Because, as I said earlier, when your emotions are up and you're in a funk and you're really unhappy, you cannot think of something to make you feel better.
No, that's right.
You are like, I don't want to do anything, give me the pajamas, go away world. That's what it's like.
Exactly.
So you need to have a tool that you can call on. I mean, I've got one at home myself, and if I'm in a bit of a funk, I go to my jar, have a look. Okay. Yes, I could go and do that. That would make me feel happy. Yeah. But you can't think of it yourself when you're in that funk. So get yourself a jar, put some things in there that make you feel good. Yeah. And use them on those different days.
And what you think, because I'm such an adrenaline junkie, this could be something to work on as well, is that I take on a lot of things that give me these adrenaline boosts, which are quite tiring, and I don't often think about my mental well-being, and I can overburn myself sometimes, which is a very bad failing of mine. So I've got better at knowing when that's happening, but
so balance is very, very important for you. You are, from what you're describing, an achievement-based person.
I would say so, definitely.
We have two types. We're achievement-based or we're pleasure-based. So the achievement-based person's going to get up in the morning and go, right, I'm going to get up and and then I'm going to feel good.
Yes.
The pleasure-based person's going to get up in the morning and go, right, I'm just going to have my coffee and read the paper, and when I'm feeling better, then I'll go and do some things. Yeah. So knowing what you are is really, really helpful. So if you're an achievement-based girl, that means that you need to allocate yourself XYZ tasks, but then you have to put in a little window for some Nikki time.
Yeah, that's right.
And then set another one. So through that day of 8-hour day, you might have put in at least twice. You need 2 windows through that day to get you a good balance going through.
Yeah,
that
I think
day.
that's definitely true. And also what you find as well, like, because I did a gig that's a very intense adrenaline boost. About 2 days later, you'll get a come down.
Yes, yeah.
And it's we'll call it the post-gig come down, you know? It's like the happy jar would be a good time.
Absolutely. Yes.
To go and do
have a
something.
look. And at that point, your body's actually, as it is coming down, it needs soft care. So it might be something like, you know what, I'm going to run myself a nice, luxury bath.
Oh, gosh, that'd be nice.
yes. Or I'm going to take my cup of tea and have it outside under a tree, listen to the bird life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, this jar isn't creating the bucket list.
No, it's just how can I pick myself up
That's it,
now?
yeah, because we have to be careful with the bucket list. It can, although it is good to be high dreaming, you have to make some of your dreams reality.
Yes, I think
and there's a sarcasm around it. Oh, I'll put that on the bucket list, which means I'm never going to do it.
I'm deferring it, yeah. I'm deferring. And, my husband does all these things. I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's like, well, you have to do it. You have to just do it,
Yes.
And that's, I don't know. I used to be a person who believed that you couldn't just do it, but I don't know.
There is a lot of times if you are a procrastinator where I will say, don't think, just do,
Yeah.
But some people overcommit in your case. And so I'm saying, woo up a wee bit there, Nikki.
I know. Well, I take it all on and then I feel really bad because I have to actually lose some things. And I wrote a song about it once. It was called If I Had the Time.
Yes.
And it was all about how you do all these things and then you get rid of some more things and then you fill your time up with more things.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I just cleared all that down thinking, I'm going to have some time with myself, and then I've just put some more things in there. I've just stuck on a play or something else, and it's like you should remember how you feel when you let those things go, but I don't.
Yeah, because where do you put the value of your time?
I know.
What is Nikki worth time-wise? If I said to you today that, tomorrow is your last day, what would you regret?
Probably not much, really. But probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. What would I regret? I don't know.
It's a pretty deep question.
It is. It's very deep for a Monday morning.
Yeah. But sometimes we need those emotional slaps to kind of make us think, what am I actually doing with my life? Am I truly happy with my life?
Yeah.
Or what could I be doing to change it? And what am I willing to compromise to get to where I want to be?
Yeah.
Because there are times when you have to say no to the good to make way for yes,
Exactly.
you're great.
Exactly.
And, and that's the big difference. If you are prepared to actually discipline yourself a little bit and say, you know what, I don't really, need that. It's every choice from the carrot to the cake, from the gate to the plate. It is entirely up to us every single time. And we are all responsible for every single action in our lives. It may not always be your fault.
No.
Things happen that are not our fault.
Yes, that's right.
But we are always 100% responsible for how we react to it.
Exactly.
And that's the divider.
Exactly.
That's the divider. So many people spend their life saying, it's not my fault, it's somebody else's fault, therefore I choose not to be.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, and there are, because I'm quite an upbeat kind of person, there are definitely people who are more negative as well. You find that you come, I can't do that and I don't want to do that, and you give them solutions and they don't necessarily want to take them on board. Especially in sometimes in the creative zone, when they come in and they go, I'm a ex-salesperson, so I know how to direct people to get sales. I'll say, well, this is what you need to. I don't know. There's all that negativity around it. I was like, well, just give you the solution.
That's right. Yes.
That's what you need to do.
That's right. And a lot of people do live emotionally blinded. They literally live in their own inner prison for, some people all of their lives, which is a complete tragedy.
Awful, isn't it? I feel really sad for those kind of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can only offer an option, and whether they choose to respond to that is...
Exactly, yeah, it's interesting. Well, what I'm going to do now, because we're halfway through, isn't that
We've
fast?
just been gum slapping.
I know. It's so fascinating.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
really cool. It's actually, I'm so fascinated. But I always am with emotional things are very interesting. People don't actually, they neglect their emotional side quite a lot. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm going to put some music on anyway. I'm going to put, do you know what? I'm going to
Sure.
put some music on that makes me feel happy.
Perfect.
My iPad is gone. It's locked itself out. I'm going to play some Looking for Alaska because they're really good. And it's just what we need for a Monday morning.
Not the way that you touch me. It's not the way that you act when you're with your friends. It's in the way that arrives me. Like falling into an ocean without an end. It's not the way that we fall out. It's not the way that we fight when we can't pretend. It's in the way that you pull out. Like falling deeper until I see you again. When you're high and can't find a way down, I'm calling out. When your heart is 6 feet underground, I'm calling out. When your mind is clouded and filled with doubt, I'm calling out. When you've lost the one you can't be without, I'm calling out.
It's not the way that you hold me. It's not the way that you act when we're all alone. It's in the way that you're carefree, like falling into a world lost on my own. It's not the way that we don't speak. It's not the way that we spend a night on our own. It's in the way that we don't sleep, like falling deeper, sinking fast like a stone.
When you're high and can't find a way down, I'm calling out. When your heart is 6 feet underground,
You're listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, and this is the Nothing Personal Show with Nikki King. And in the studio this morning, I've got Marie McManaway from Life for You. We are sponsored by Fuzzbox Designs. We are looking for another sponsor for the show, so if you feel like you fancy sponsoring this show where we interview all these marvellous guests and women and play all this marvellous Kiwi music, it's all Kiwi, it's all not part of the mainstream yet. It's up and coming bands that I play. I really champion that stuff. So if you want to be part of it, if you want to come on the show, just get in touch. If you want a sponsor, get in touch. But we've got Marie in the studio, and she's very fascinating. I feel like I'm being, what's the word?
Psychoanalyzed.
Yes, but I don't mind it. It's quite good fun. It's really good fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So,
Wonderful.
Marie, you were telling, while we were listening to that beautiful piece of music from Looking for Alaska, you were telling me about some other things that are going on, some tools we've got, and some the 11 senses. That was fascinating.
Yes. So, we kind of think of ourselves as being born with 5 senses, and
Yeah.
those are the ones that are pretty much drummed into us. But if you think about it, you don't need to be told to feel when you sit down. You can feel it automatically.
Yeah.
You don't need to know how to hear.
No.
It's an automatic reaction. And we actually have 60,000 thoughts a day on average.
Yep.
And knowing that 80% of them are the same is why we tend to get stuck in that rut. We're
Yeah.
doing the same thing, different day. Like
Yep.
you might have the same clothing, in theory, the same partner, but, Tinder's around. And I am not endorsing that, I can tell you that. Same...
Don't do Tinder.
No, don't do Tinder, trust me. And so, because we're doing the same old thing
Yep.
all the time, we do get into that funk of feeling the same shit different day.
Yeah, that's right.
And you cannot change your life without first changing your thoughts.
No, that's right.
And then in turn changing your language and then the actions that come from that. And then when you can see yourself, like you described earlier, being successful, whereas you were with your cardio achievements, then you can feel the result.
Yeah,
and
that's
once you can
right.
feel it, that builds your sense of self-esteem,
Yeah.
your worth, your value, and you are pumped to want to go and do it some more.
That's right.
So if we think about those senses, we've actually got, I don't know if the camera can see this here, but this is
Yep.
that is my artistic talent right there. That is all you're going to get from me.
That's awesome. I love that.
I cannot draw.
I love that.
Anyway, so I named him Mr. Sensible. And I remember doing a course on this, but the one thing about people coming in for coaching is they get the speed version of everything all blended into one. So we've got our 5 senses and they are
Yeah.
practical and they live in our logical mind. And we've got 2 minds up here. We've got a logical and we've got a sub-logical or a subconscious.
Yeah.
Although, in true fairness, I actually think women can be a little bit like the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah.
We can be sleepy, grumpy.
Oh, gosh, yes. Definitely.
And I've heard the saying, I'm in 7 minds before, but apparently there is only the 2. So in our subconscious or our emotional mindset, where our drivers are formed,
Yes.
where the fuel in your car goes, where your
Yeah.
beliefs and your habits are formed,
Yep.
are your other senses. And these are the ones that we draw on for anything in life. So it could be memory. Recall is a great sensory. We use it often. We'll make a perceptive decision based on a past experience. It can be your will. Now, if you've ever watched a little 3 or 4-year-old in the supermarket, and boy, are they good at putting the lolly stands when you're on their checkout, and he might say something like, can I have some sweets, Mum? And Mum's thinking, no, it's tea time, so she's, no, child, you cannot.
Yes.
And he will use his will, and he will say things like, but if I clean my room, he'll bargain.
Or they'll just kick off.
Yeah, or he'll try emotion. He'll say, but I love you, Mummy. I love you. If that doesn't work, hey, we've got the embarrassing one. We can chuck a tanty, Mums never enjoy that and usually renege and give in. So at that point, you are learning how to flex your will.
Yes.
And it is often your will and your determination that will drive you through any storm in life. And then, of course, we've got creativity. Something that you're very good at, Nikki.
Oh, thank you.
The ability to see beyond your current situation.
Yes.
To decide something for the future and go further. And that's a real trait for you. It's a sign of success also.
Yes.
You know, it's something successful people can do. The mediocre people tend to only be stuck in the funk, or they are looking backwards in life.
Can I just interrupt you there? Just because this is an interesting point, because I had this conversation with someone. There are some people that don't see the final product. And there's some people that can see it. You know, it's like when I've done events or something, you can get the negative people who go, no, that's never going to happen. But some people can just see the successful thing at the end. And there's me and a friend are working on an event, and we're like that. But it was different for her. I see that all the time, but she couldn't understand why people couldn't see it was going to work.
That's right.
So there are people like that, are there?
Yes. So there are people. Some people can only feel it. They get a feeling and they run off feeling. I'm very feeling. Other people are visual, you know, so they get that visual. Other people have to hear about it a lot. And many people, a lot of extroverts, they seek their evidence and their information by, I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to do it and explore it, which you described yourself as a true extrovert before. But an introvert, they will want to read all the information, be 100% confident before they'll break out and give it a go. Yeah. So if you're working with an introvert, you need to be able to give them loads of information about it to support them through. And then they'll go, okay, now I read it, now I understand it, now I can follow you, Nikki. But if you just go, let's look here, they'll go, I can't see that.
No, some people can't see that it's going to be a success, you know, at the end.
That's
it's like,
exactly right.
They've got no concept of what it's going to be.
That's it. And the other great sense we've got is intuition, that guttural feeling, that little messenger voice inside your head even that may say, this is right, or I shouldn't be doing this. You know, and often you might hear that say on a Friday night when you're about to have your third glass of wine and you think, I shouldn't be doing this. But you have it anyway, and then the next day you say, what? I shouldn't have done that.
That was like me on Saturday night. I really shouldn't still be up at 5 a.m. because I've got to work tomorrow.
Exactly. So you know.
Yeah. And then I got up at, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have been up till 5 a.m. at all. But you can't switch off after a gig, so
that's it. So if we can listen to that voice, that inner voice is going to be speaking the truth. It knows you. You know, your body knows you better than your mind does.
Yeah, that's
and your body speaks. It will tell you off if it's not happy quite easily. You know, so we do all have these other 6 tools. And then the other one, of course, or the last one is reasoning.
Yes.
And reasoning is something that we often don't get until quite a bit older in life, you know, and you're trying to have a discussion with somebody and you might say, oh, they're so unreasonable, or they don't reason with me. Generally, that comes more as people mature and become less egoic and more about what the facts are. You know, they're able to remove themselves instead of just defending themselves all day, you know. So that's something you can learn when you learn some good communication tools. Yeah. So knowing who you are is so important, because then it helps you know how, why and what. Yeah. But you can't do the other ones first.
No. So you said you had some tools as well that you could talk to us about just before we finish. We've got about 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness, it's gone so fast. It's gone so fast. Okay, so you know, some of the simple tools is remembering that we are 2 minds, and in our logical mind we are factual, we are practical, we are doing the things like basic everyday type things. In our subconscious mind, we are emotional. We are all about the why, the heart, the soul.
Yes.
So if you are in a funk or an unhappy place, try and just stop and take a breath. And in your mind, just step back, because when you're in emotion, you're right at the front, you know, cortex of your brain, and you're right here, and you can feel the pressure and the tense. It's like, oh my God, my amygdala is spinning at 1,000,000 miles an hour, you know. And so we want to stop and take that breath in and step ourselves back into a logical mindset. And instead of being in the emotional mindset where we're asking why, you want to remove the word why. Why is a swear word. When you're unhappy or stuck, why will always, your subconscious will always feed you a negative answer. Because if you ask, why is this happening to me? Why did it go wrong? Why did she leave me? Why did I, you know, lose all that money or do that? It will always go, because you're not good enough, because you're not worthy, because you can never get anything right.
Because you're hopeless with this.
Yes, it'll beat you up. It really will. So think of yourself as processing backwards into a conscious mind and ask a what question. See, what is powerful?
Yeah, what can I do?
What is a call to action?
Yes.
What can I do about it? What's really going on here? You know, sometimes if you're having a really down day, just say, today's a shit day. It's a shit day. I'm not going to psychoanalyze it. I'm just going to accept that today is that day. You know, instead of going, what has caused it? Why shouldn't I like this? You know, why is this? Why is this? Why is this? Just go, you know, today's not the best day.
No,
This is it.
Just
that is it.
Live with it. Let's just get to the end of it.
Yes.
Finish early.
Absolutely. And be kind to yourself while you're in that day.
Enjoy your guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Kick
but,
off.
you know,
Knock off at 4.
Exactly. So to help you practice being in a logical mindset, I mean, they call it neuro-linguistic programming, but hey, let's just call it a rubber band.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Put a rubber band on your wrist.
Yep.
And when you feel yourself going into that emotional overload or depressive thinking, when you recognise, oh, I'm in there again, stop, take your breath, step back, snap the band. I mentioned really early on that I'm not into 50 Shades of Grey, but a little painful stimuli, however, is enough to hold you physically accountable and make you snap out of it.
Yes.
So then you can go into what am I doing? What's really going on here?
Yep.
And at that point, you can use tools. You can tell it to dismiss it, go away. I'm not interested. I don't want to do this right now. What can I do?
Yeah.
I can go to my happy jar. I can get something out of that. I can spend some time pummeling. Pummeling is like imprinting the brain. As a little girl, when you were at school with your pigtails and arms and legs folded, what were you doing to learn the times table?
Oh, you're just going over and over again. Rote fashion?
Yeah. I was going 1 + 1 is 2. Good
2
girl,
2's a
Nikki.
4, 3 2's a 6. Yeah, all that.
And when you learnt it, here's the next times table. And it was pummeled or imprinted into your mind.
Yes.
And it's still there today.
That's right.
That's how well imprinting works.
Yeah.
So imprint a couple of sentences for yourself that actually make you feel inspired or motivated. I choose to better myself.
Yep.
Or I'm in the process of change.
Yes.
You know, something like that, and just repeat it over and over again. And it will feed the message down into your body and tell your body that actually I don't want to be feeling unhappy. I want to get up and do something.
Yes.
And it will inspire it to change.
That's right. And it's quite easy to get like that because I do CrossFit and there's lots of very fit people. We all do the same workout, but I do mine scaled, which is quite cool. And you can get negative. You can go, well, I can't actually do what they're doing. But you have to, in the same workout, I've had achievements and personal bests, but you only ever remember the things that you get frustrated with, don't you? And that was a big, I have to remind myself quite a lot to celebrate the achievements.
Celebrate all the wins.
Yeah.
Because even the little wins, every time you make a step forward, you've done something
I think every time I go to the gym, it's something that I wasn't doing 10 weeks ago, you know.
I remember doing squats the other day and I thought, oh, woohoo, I'm 56 and I can still do squats. The knees are holding out. You know, like it's, how do you find your celebrations, you know, and it's not in the, you know, the caviar and the champagne. It's in the everyday life, you know, look for the wins, look for the gratitudes.
Well, I was there picking up a deadlift of 67.5 kgs, but I couldn't get the technique right. And it was really frustrating me. And I went out feeling really bad about that. But at the end of the day, I'd lifted a weight of 67 kg. And I can squat now. I couldn't do that when I went to the gym 10 weeks ago. And there's lots of things I've done first.
A real technique.
Yeah, first of that I don't see because I got frustrated and hung up on that one thing that I couldn't do.
So the universe is providing you with constant evidence that you are literally processing through some great changes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So high five yourself, you know, celebrate.
Exactly.
Celebrate it all. You know, start your day with your morning coffee and you know, I do at the window, or if my husband's at home, cheers to life, cheers to this day.
Yeah.
You know, if you're alive and you're doing something with your day, congratulate yourself for doing that.
Exactly.
You know?
You have to kick yourself sometimes, you know. You get stuck in routines and stress and you don't realise how well you're doing sometimes.
That's it. Yeah. That's that emotional blanket coming down over you to prevent you from stopping, stepping back and actually going, you know what? I'm doing bloody all right.
Exactly. So I think we should get to some really important stuff now, Marie. How can people if they need your help, how can they get in touch with you?
Okay, so probably Facebook is really good. So I'm just I'm Marie McManaway on Facebook, or you can email me, which is Life for You, and it's spelt the letters L, which stands for Live, Y, Your, and F Future, and then the number 4 and the letter U. It was back in the days where texting had just started out. It seemed good at the time. Life for You sounds ridiculous now, but I'm stuck with it.
It's easy to remember, though.
It is. So lifeforyou.co.nz. And also there's a website there. There's some really wonderful free tools on there that you're welcome to. There is a generic letting go that I spoke to you about that you can go in and have a try and see if there is a resonation there for you. And if so, you might want to pursue that. But also there's CDs and things like that to help out as well. But I'm just here to help you, and I'm just like you. You know, we all need a hand now and again. The trick is to ask.
And how can they get your book?
They can also go to my website, which is www.lifeforyou.co.nz.
And that's cool. So the Mind Mechanic, you can buy that as well.
The Mind Mechanic or the Mind Fit Farmer that's due out shortly.
Another book.
Another book.
Another one. I'm surrounded by people who write books. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
It must take ages to write books.
It's just passion. Your fingers do the walking, literally.
Yeah,
the punctuation and spelling was horrific.
You get somebody else to do that, though, don't you? It's like songwriting. I love songwriting, but that's an essence of a different kind of thinking than books, because you're trying to create a story in a very short...
Yes, package it so it's actually decipherable.
Yeah, in a very short time. In not very many lyrics sometimes as well, because you've got to let some music happen as well.
Yeah. I mean, Nikki, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful opportunity.
It's been
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Fascinating. So fascinating. It's been a really, really good show. And, there's some techniques. There's some really good techniques. I'm now thinking, perhaps I should do that. This is the problem with this show. You meet so many people.
Of course.
And it's like, I think I should do that. And it's really amazing. So thank you for being a guest with us. You've been absolutely marvellous. And come again. We can talk some more about this, because I'm sure that will help everybody out there to achieve their best. And the women in the group, if you're watching, this sounds like a marvellous tool. I've met a number of women who want to get to where they need to be, especially with their business. And it sounds like Marie would be ideal to help you get over those issues that you get that stick in your head, because they do. You get those kind of things.
Yes.
So we are part of Wairarapa Women in Business Facebook group. If you want to join,
and by the way, if people do join up, there's a free newsletter and things like that which they can they can be privy to. There's
to your Life for You.
Yes.
Cool.
No charge. And the same with Facebook. It's just out there to help.
That's awesome, isn't it? So free resources, Life for You, LYF4U.co.nz.
Correct. Thanks.
Go and have a look at it and get in touch with Marie, because she could definitely help you. So Wairarapa Women in Business, you can join that group, Facebook group. Come and meet us for breakfast on a Monday. Not a Monday, it's a Friday. If the first Friday and the third Friday. The first Friday is Carterton, third Friday is Masterton. You can join the Facebook group for happy networking. Marie's in the group, so you can talk to her in the group as well. And we have some marvellous women in Wairarapa who do business. Come to that. We've been sponsored by Fuzzbox Designs, and we're looking for another sponsor. So if you think you can sponsor my show, please get in touch. And you've been listening to 92.7 Arrow FM, who do this marvellous this studio here, and they've got to give a little campaign going on at the moment to help with the costs of moving to this studio. So you can hop along to Give a Little and search out Arrow FM and give anything that you can to help them. That would be fantastic. And also thanks to Wairarapa TV, you can see this show at 11 a.m. today, 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. and then 6 p.m. tomorrow, and we're on a playlist on YouTube, so if you want to go and watch the show again, you can do. And you can hop over to my website, which is Wairarapa Business Women www.nothingpersonal.co.nz, and all the shows and the podcasts too that you can download, and you can also get it on iTunes. So loads of places you can listen to our show. So you've been listening to Nothing Personal show with Nikki King, and we'll be back next week with some other marvellous guests. We try our best to get these fantastic guests in for you to listen to and
Which
watch.
is great.
And thanks for coming, Marie.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute privilege.
Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.